Well, a few albums before LA Woman, we were trying to make our own Sergeant Pepper, the Soft Parade, and we had strings and horns and big production. And then when we finally got to LA Woman, we realized that we wanted to go back to the blues and to the garage that we started in. And so we recorded in our rehearsal room, the Doors workshop, not a studio. And we brought in portable equipment. We actually denied technology and used 8-track instead of 16. 16 had been invented. And so the concept was to get back to our roots. And it must have worked because I'm still talking about this album 50 years later. It was very relaxing. Paul Rothschild, our producer, taught us how to make records for many years, but then he got a little perfectionistic and asked us to record too many takes on some of the songs. And he was dealing with Jim's increasing alcoholism, which was difficult. But when we were rehearsing, we played him Riders on the Storm, and it was not evolved yet. It wasn't as good as it finally became, but he said it sounded like cocktail music, which was sort of a derogatory comment. And then he said, I think you guys should do it yourself. And he was right. And we got Bruce Botnick, our longtime recording engineer, to co-produce with us. And so we felt empowered by producing the record ourselves. And so everybody stepped up. And we thought we would only do a couple takes on each song, whereas back a few albums, we did 20 or 30 takes on each song. And Bruce said to us, you guys know how to make records. Let's do this quick in 2 weeks. And that's what we did. No, we were rehearsing the songs for LA Woman, and our old producer, Paul, came to our studio, our rehearsal room. And that's when he sort of said, oh, do it yourself. And so then we started the album with Bruce Botnick. So, and Jim sang in the bathroom. You know, usually the singer's in an isolation booth. Well, we were in our rehearsal room, and so he just went in there, and then the tiles on the bathroom walls were kind of natural echo, and it was just perfect. Well, I mean, Riders on the Storm is just, I can't get enough of it. Whenever I hear it, if I'm driving in the car and someone's playing it, I listen to the whole thing, because the mood is so mysterious. Carlos Santana, I played Riders on the Storm with him, I don't know, a few years ago. And he said there's just this mysterious mystery mood that's created. And maybe that has to do partially with, we had a lot of fun playing God, putting in thunder and lightning. And Ray played an incredible piano solo, moody, sort of mysterious. And I really just love the feel of that song. LA Woman, of course, I also love very much too, because it's kind of a perfect song for driving 60 miles an hour on the freeway. It's just, and Jim wrote this great stuff about LA as a woman, a metaphor for cops and cars, the topless bars. I never saw a woman so alone. I see your hair is burning. Hills are filled with fire. Well, that's the fires we have every year. Say I never loved you. They are a liar. Motel Money, Murder, Madness, Change the Moon from Glad to Sadness. That was the Manson, this horrible stuff in the 60s. And then Mr. Mojo Rising, Mojo is a term in the blues for sexual prowess. And so I said to everybody, well, let's slow the tempo down and then sort of slowly speed it up like an orgasm. And that's what we did. The difficulty was that when we got back up to the end, I wanted to somehow approximate the same tempo that I started the song at. Do 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 do, and then Mr. Mojo Rise, and it's real slow, and then it gets faster and faster, and I got to get back to do do do. I just got into town about an hour ago. Took a look around, see which way the wind blows. Are you a lucky little lady in the city of light, or just another lost angel? City at night, city at night. So you can see I'm the drummer, not the singer, but I wound up having the band, the tempo's a little faster than the beginning, but nobody knows that until now. So anyways, that's my favorites, LA Woman and Riders on the Storm. We did have a pinball machine in our rehearsal room, and Jerry Sheff played bass with us. He was Elvis Presley's bass player, and he was addicted to the pinball machine. Every time we did a take and we feel, we got the take, then he'd go over and be the pinball wizard and be playing around with that. And there's a funny little thing, but I really enjoyed playing with him. He had a great feel. And also, when Ray played all the bass lines with his left hand. We didn't have a bass player live, but in the studio, we had one for this. And Ray was teaching Jerry the bass line to Riders on the Storm. Do, 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 do. Let's see. Do, 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 do. That's the bass line. And that's the line that Jerry kind of changed into. Ray taught it to him, and Jerry said to Ray, you can't play that on a string, like the string of a bass. I have to change it a little. And he changed it into something that everybody knows forever. So thank you, Jerry Sheff. Well, Light My Fire in the end. I like When the Music's Over very much, which was a long, like the end, it was maybe live 15 minutes long. I also I found myself having a conversation musically with Jim. I mean, the drummer has to keep the beat. You got to keep the beat. But then when Jim was singing sort of this poetic stuff about what have they done to the earth? What have they done to our fair sister? Stuck her with knives in the side of the dawn, tied her with fences, dragged her down. And Earth Day was a couple of days ago. I found myself doing that. What have they done to the earth? What have they done to our sister? I kind of had a conversation with Jim as to what he was saying right there. And then I went back to the beat, and I don't know why I did that. Well, I wanted to make it more personal. It seems to be good. It's like the two of us are talking. It's very flattering. I mean, when we first started, I hoped that I could pay the rent for 10 years, and it's 50 years, and I'm doing well. So that makes me feel really good that people understand what we were trying to do. And, I have a new book out called The Seekers. I don't think it's translated into Spanish yet, but I'm looking forward to. I've had a script that I've been working on for many years, and I'm still doing that. So it's exciting for me to not only be proud of my past, but I'm I'm writing more. So I'm looking for music in between sentences more than playing on my drums. You can see behind me, but it excites me to be creative in the present and the future. Well, I mean, maybe each generation needs Jim to help them cut their umbilical cord. Can you see behind me? There's this sign that says Morrison Street and Densmore Avenue. Let me tell you a little story about that. I was born in Los Angeles. Actually, my mother was born here in 1904. So we've got roots here, although we're not the first people. The Chumash Indians are the first people. We're not native. Anyway, I've known all my life that there was a Densmore Street in Los Angeles. And a few years ago, I had a little extra time and I was driving past Densmore Street. And I thought, well, maybe I'll make a right turn and go up and see what's up there, Densmore Street. What the hell? I drive up about a mile and it crosses Morrison Street. So when did they name these streets? Hundreds of years ago. So I was just astounded that Densmore and Morrison were crossing. They weren't on the same pole. And we called the mayor of Los Angeles and got permission to put them on the same pole and took a photograph and then made a couple of these signs just for a nice publicity thing. But it's so interesting that two streets in the city of the LA woman are Morrison and Densmore, and they cross. I like that. It's prophetic. Music is always continually evolving. So each generation, they have a new thing. I think Jim was saying maybe someday music will be made by one guy with a bunch of machines. He said that a long time ago. So it's sort of like the beat generation, which was Jack Kerouac, Ginsberg. They kind of fed us. We're on the shoulders of the beats, and our generation was the hippies, and on the shoulders of the hippies is the punks. The punk generation was next, and then the grunge generation, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, they're kind of on the back of the punks. So each one feeds the next one. And that's a beautiful thing, because you learn from what went before. My new book, The Seekers, I have a chapter on Gustavo Dudamel. He's the conductor of the LA Philharmonic. He's from Venezuela. And he totally understands how different genres of music affect each other. So he's a classical conductor, but he's completely aware of Led Zeppelin and salsa and the Doors, and it feeds him, And so that's, if we can all stay open to different genres of music, we can learn to love each other.